Another story I asked people about, hey, did you hear about like Peet's Coffee organizing? They're like, wait, Peet's Coffee? Half the people around the country don't even know about Peet's Coffee and they don't drink Peet's Coffee. But the people who do, they really love it. And it is kind of a thing. And so what's happening? Peet's workers are filing to unionize, joining the massive cafe union wave. Oh, wait, my screen. Okay. My screen went dark for a second. Another Truthout article.
You okay? Okay.
Well, my screen went dark for a second. Sorry. It reflected. We're good. Another Truthout article. Again, Indie Media Award winner. But this is a double Indie Media Award winner because it's also by Sharon Zhang, who's one of the best writers and labor writers in the country and in the world today. If you're not following her, you should be. Zhang_Sharon. She tweets pretty decently, but she writes amazingly over at Truthout. So, if successful, Peet's would be the first to unionize. These two cafes would be the first to unionize in the 330 chain location. And that's pretty decent size. This one's in Union Square in New York City. Workers at two Peet's locations in Davis, California are filing for union this week, hoping to join growing cafe wave. Right? As first reported by a more perfect union, our friends, or sometimes our friends, most of the time our friends. Workers at Peet's location say they've been organizing for 5 months with Workers United, a subsidiary of SEIU that's been behind Starbucks Workers Union Drive, which has unionized, of course, more than 250 stores over the last year. Workers are confident they'll be successful with union leaders at both stores, saying employee support for union is nearly unanimous. They've asked management to agree to a list of non-interference principles and requested that management not retaliate against workers for unionizing. Fingers crossed. Workers say they were prompted to organize by poor working conditions within the chain. So what happened here? Well, first of all, the workers have the right to organize and should definitely organize if they want to. Okay? But pay starts at minimum wage, they say, which in California is $15 an hour, below the living wage of at least $21.82 for an adult in the state with no children, according to the Massachusetts, to MIT's living wage calculator. Workers are also sent home early from their shifts, which cuts their pay and places stress on remaining staff. All right? I really love what I do. I really believe in Peet's values, but every year it gets harder to do this job. It gets busier and busier. Everything gets more and more expensive. Okay? At my last review, I got the highest mark you can get. That raise was 50 cents. With inflation, that's less money than I made last year. It radicalized me. Yeah. I feel you, Alex. So it's just not enough money fundamentally for the jobs we're doing here. They're really demanding physically, mentally, and very technical. And we've talked about what baristas do and all the different combinations and the customer service and exactly what the assembly line kind of stuff they have to do is. It's really hostile customers, increasing popularity of mobile orders, created stressful and sometimes abusive conditions at work. Of course, with company higher-ups taking little action to mitigate problems like harassment from customers. Meanwhile, there's little opportunity for upward movement for workers. And that's one of the things, even in my own job, like, what's a career path? Like, if there's no future for me here, why do I want to be here? Because I'd rather be with someone that has an idea of where they think they might want to put me and give me an idea to say, hey, if you do these kind of things, we can see you going toward this type of role and you'll acquire these skills. And not only would they be valuable here, but they'll probably be valuable elsewhere as well. There's no recourse for harassment by customers. We've had few members of our clientele who've made a lot of employees really uncomfortable and not comfortable coming to work. Jeez. Can you imagine dreading coming to work because a customer every day is just going to come and berate you? What ends up happening is nothing gets done and people continue to be uncomfortable and feel unsafe in the workplace. And then they quit. That's what they want. They want to be managed out. Similar issues have been reported by unionizing Starbucks workers, who also say that low pay, harassment from customers, and seeming indifference from management in solving such problems drove them to unionize. Yep. So, if successful, these workers will form a union of one of the largest coffee chains in the country. They would also join workers at local coffee shops like Darwin's in Boston, Colectivo in Wisconsin, Spot Coffee Buffalo, the last of which inspired the Starbucks movement. So, again, that's a quick one, but I did want to call attention. Well, we did have a pretty big blow this week with the unions with the train guys. We did have also a pretty decent sized deal here with Pete's. And again, well, it's still early. NLRB is going to get involved. We're going to see if this works. And sounds like the store's down. What's the company going to do? Will they close the locations? Will they just pull a Starbucks and just shut it down? I don't know.
Probably.
I sure hope not. Well, there's two of them, first of all. They lose, 20, 30 employees of their best stores. They'd have to figure out how to relocate or whatever. And Rick drinks Zapatista coffee. That's I've never even heard of. All right, and real coffee always better than franchise coffee. Well, I'm a Dunkin' fanatic and addict and junkie, and I'm drinking it right now. Yeah, solidarity with the workers, 100%. Rick and everyone. How many we got watching now? 16 live there.
That kind of stuff is like the McDonald's of coffee.
Dunkin'.
Yes.
Okay.
And Starbucks and whatever, like,
Well, all right. So
like,
before we
pretty much fancy Keurigs.
Well, before we get to the next story, and that's our last one already, and it's like I said, we're gonna whip through this tonight. About the trade stuff, because I do follow it closely, and Reef's like, dude, you got to say something about it. And you're right, I do have to say something about it. So here's what I'm gonna say: is everybody said no, the union said no, and government said no. Are they gonna walk and they're gonna shut the shit down? Or are they not going to shut the shit down? And that's the big question. And that's going to happen Friday. The problem is, if they do that, the union's going to pull out on them. I am drinking coffee right now, Valerie. Yes. Eric, welcome. How are you, brother? Good to see you always. If they do shut it down, they're going to lose their benefits. They're going to get fired, and they're going to get destroyed in the press. That's already been set up. And they've set this up for the last 3 months. And this is what I was screaming about. We did a segment about 6 weeks ago, and I've been sharing the hell out of it because Bree Joy Gray and all these people that finally woke up to, hey, there might be a problem with the rail guys. Yeah. Hello. We've been talking about this since September. We knew that this was going to happen after the election.
That
yeah. We covered that
weeks ago.
6 months ago. Yeah. So it's so frustrating because, again, we knew that they kicked this down the road until after the election so they could do pretty much exactly this. Browbeat everybody into the most important election, elect us, save democracy, and then turn around and kick them in the balls. And it's exactly what they did. They kicked them in the balls this week. All right? AOC running around like, oh, this is what the union asked me to do. They asked you to separate the 7 days, not the 15 days that they wanted. The union leadership asked you to separate 7 days, put it into a separate bill, and send that to Congress so they knew it would die? Get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck up. Sorry. I've been salty all week about this nonsense, as you can tell. Now, there's an organizing call on Tuesday. INN will be dialing in. We will be trying to live stream it. Colin has been amazing checking that out. I love you, brother. Thank you so much for all your help with all this stuff. And we are all over this, and we are trying to reach out and support the rail workers. Solidarity, of course, trying to drum up sentiment and try to get people aware, raise awareness to what's happening, because they're smearing these guys in the corporate press. They're going to blame the rail guys. I mean, for wanting one vacation day, 2 weeks of vacation. Somebody posted a thing that Joe Biden actually campaigned on 12 weeks of vacation for the entire country, if I remember correctly. 12 weeks of paid vacation, which is insane. I mean, come on. He really campaigned on that? Yeah. Even if it was 2 weeks of paid vacation. Where's these guys 2 weeks? What I say, nationalize the rails. Tell Warren Buffett, sorry, brother. You can't do this to these people. You got 100,000 people that you just did this to. And again, the problem is not the money.
They got to take their power back, don't they?
The problem is not the money. The problem is the scheduling. The problem is, and we talked about this, is the blocks, the 4 to 5 days that they're requiring these people to be away from their families. You can't have a family life not seeing
Mhm.
your children for 4 days.
Mhm.
Um,